In the north of Canada, there was a small village, Lake Haven. The winters there were so long that people often took warmth from their memories. Named Anna lived with her grandmother in a wooden house. Every evening she went to the lake shore and listened to the faint sound of water trapped under the ice. One day she found a small box there. Inside was an old photo of a soldier and a letter. "If I don't return, let the ice tell my story." The next day, Anna asked the elders of the village, and they told her that the soldier was from their own village, and he never returned. After that day, whenever the ice melted, Anna went to the lake and said, "You've come back? I heard your message." The whole village said. When Anna spoke, a voice came from under the ice, as if someone was replying. In a small village of England, Hamley, an old woman, Rosa, ran a tea house. The special thing about her tea house was that she placed a rose with every cup. People said that the rose brought good luck. One day a young painter came, lonely, quiet, and penniless. Rosa smiled and said, "Don't worry about money. Just paint me a picture of my shop." A few days later, the picture was ready. Birds sitting outside the shop, rose petals wet with rain. And in the corner of the painting was written, "Tea ends, but its fragrance remains." 5 years later, when Rosa died, her tea house closed. But that painting still hangs in a cafe in London, where people say the scent of those roses is still there. In the rural area of America, Moon Valley, there was an old house. People called it the House of Shadows. They said at night an old lantern glowed there, though no one lived inside. A young couple, Emily and Ben, bought that house. The first night, when they slept, Emily heard a faint knock at the door. She opened it. No one was there, but a note lay on the ground. "This house stays silent, only when memories do not awaken." A few days later, they found an old diary inside the wall. It told the story of a woman who died waiting for her husband. Emily burned the diary, but since that day, the lantern has never gone out. People still say, when the wind blows in Moon Valley, that woman still calls her husband. In the middle of an old village stood a large oak tree. The villagers called it the Tree of Hope. Every year, people tied their wishes to it on paper. But one year, lightning struck and broke the tree. The villagers cried, as if their hopes had broken too. Then a little boy said, "The tree has fallen, not died. I'll make new branches grow." Years later, the tree stood again, and a plaque was hung on it. Hope never dies, it only changes its form. In an old Chinese village, Yangli, there was a poor boy, Chulin, who sat by the river every evening making paper boats. His mother used to say, "When your boat crosses the river, your destiny will change too." One day, a merchant came, picked up one of the boats, and said, "You have lucky hands, my boy. Come with me to the city." Chulin took his mother's permission and went to the city. Years later, that boy became a great artist. His paintings of paper boats became famous. When he returned to the village, the river had dried up, but a small boat was stuck at the bank. On it was written, "My son, your boat has reached its destination." In a mountain village of Japan, Kamagachi, cherry blossom, sakura, trees bloomed every spring. There was a girl, Yumi, whose father had gone to war. Before leaving, he said, "When the sakura petals fall, I will return." Years passed, every spring came, but her father didn't. Yumi tied a red ribbon to the tree every year. After 25 years, one day she found that same ribbon on the ground. With it, a small wooden box containing a soldier's photo and a note. "I couldn't return, but every spring I bloomed with your tree." After that, Yumi built a bench under the tree, and on it was written, "Love doesn't die with time, it only changes shape." In the desert region of Australia, outback, there was a boy, Liam. His grandfather was a star expert. He used to say, "Every mark on the sand is the reflection of a star, only if you know how to see it." One night, Liam saw a falling star land on the ground. He ran and found a small glowing stone. He called it the sand star. As time passed, Liam used that light to teach astronomy to children. Years later, when he grew old, he looked at the sky and said, "Grandpa, I've kept the stars alive on Earth." After his death, a small observatory was built there, named the Sand Star, where every night a lamp burns as if a star has descended to Earth. In the old Moroccan city of Fez, the streets were filled with fragrance of roses, oud, and saffron. There lived a girl, Zahra, who sold perfumes. She had an old bottle about which she said, "My grandfather got it from a desert sage. It brings peace to every sorrowful heart." One day, a tired traveler came, his eyes weary, his heart heavy. Zahra opened the bottle, and in a moment, the air filled with the scent of rain and oud. The traveler smiled as if his heart felt light after years. Before leaving, he said, "I come from the palace of the king, but peace I found only here. Where does this fragrance come from?" Zara replied. It comes from the sand. That which endures with patience turns into perfume. Years later, when that traveler became king, he built a palace and named it the Palace of Patience and Fragrance. They say even today the same scent lingers there. And when the wind blows, someone softly whispers, Zahra is still smiling. Thousands of years ago, by the Nile, there was a city, Dahrin. It was the place where, in the name of the sun god Ra, light was kindled every morning in the temple. In the center of the city lived a young priestess, Naira. They said Naira's face was bright as the moon, and her eyes deep as the Nile. One day, Pharaoh's soldiers brought a prisoner, a sculptor accused of carving a human face on the god's statue. Naira looked at him, her heart stopped for a moment. The prisoner said, I didn't carve the god's face. I carved the face of my dream. That face is yours. Hearing this, Naira trembled. Pharaoh ordered his death, but that night a storm came. Lightning struck the temple, and the statue of the god broke. In the morning, when people entered, they saw, inside the statue was carved a heart, and in the center of it was an inscription, Love is not greater than the gods, but it is their reflection. Naira disappeared. People said she drifted away with the Nile, but every full moon on the riverbank in the moonlight, a shadow appears, holding a glowing chisel as if still carving. And that city was named Dahrin, which means beyond time. For there, love had defeated even time. In a war-torn village of Bosnia, Mostar, lived an old muezzin, Yusuf Aga. The war had taken everything, the mosque's roof, his sons, and even his hearing. A bomb explosion had made him deaf. Yet every evening he stood on the prayer mat, faced the Qibla, and moved his lips as if giving the call to prayer. People asked, Aga, you can't hear, then why call the azan? He smiled and said, I cannot hear, but my Lord can. One snowy night, the village children sat around him. Yusuf Aga closed his eyes, raised his hands, and for the first time, the whole village heard a faint sound, as if the azan echoed through the air. Everyone said, that was Aga's voice, not from earth, but from the sky. Since that day, whenever it snows in that Bosnian village, people say Aga is calling the azan again. A little away from Paris, there was a small village, Montluer. The village was famous for its old café La Fleur, where a young girl, Emily, made coffee every evening. Her habit was, whenever it rained, she sat by the window and read old love letters found under the cafe tables. Those letters held people's dreams, separations, and promises. One day, an old man came, holding that same letter, the one he had once written in this cafe to his beloved, but left for war before giving it to her. Emily opened the letter. The ink was faded. The words read, If you are reading this letter in the rain, know that I have returned. The old man smiled and said, I have returned, but she is gone. You keep this cafe alive, because in every cup, someone's memory brews. After that day, on the cafe window was written, This cafe revives love in the rain. And even today, when it rains in that Paris village, people drink coffee there and say, through Emily's window, old dreams can still be seen. In the Turkish city of Konya, there was a small village where a dervish lived, Salim Baba. Every night he walked through the streets with a lantern in his hand and placed one before every door. One day, a young man asked, Baba, everyone's asleep. No one sees this light. Why do you light it? Baba smiled and said, I don't light it for the dark. I light it for hope. Years later, when Baba passed away, people saw. The lamps around his shrine lit themselves. Since that night, whenever someone's heart breaks in that village, people say, Salim Baba's lantern still burns. You just need eyes that can see. In an ancient Iranian village, Shiraz, lived a blind poet, Dara. He never wrote on paper, only formed words in the air, and said, My poetry can only be heard by those who have silence in their hearts. People thought he was mad. But one day, when a great storm struck the village, Dara faced the sky and recited a verse. And at that moment, the clouds split, rain poured down, as if nature itself had heard his words. After the rain stopped, a voice was heard from the earth. Dara, your poetry is written on hearts today, not on paper. Since that day, poets of Shiraz say, He who speaks from the heart, his words never die. Near the Spanish city of Granada, there was an old village, where every building was made of red bricks. People called it the Red Street. There lived an old painter, Isabella. Every day she painted the same scene, a street with sunlight falling on red walls. One day a girl asked, Why do you paint the same scene every day? Isabella said, I'm waiting for my husband, who left through this street. When I get the colors right, he will return. Years later, when she died, people saw her last canvas. For the first time, at the end of the street, a shadow was visible. When someone touched the painting, it felt the color was still wet. Even today, at sunset, that street truly turns red. as if love is still breathing inside a painting. Kingsgate is a small mountain village with a population of around 150, located near the US-Canada border. On a winter night, a minor incident occurred near the border. People from a nearby village had come to deliver supplies, but got stranded due to snow and dangerous roads. The villagers lit lamps, started fires, and tried to clear a path from the nearby forest. Everyone worked together to manage the situation. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but the villagers remember that night forever. In the mountain village of Kingsgate, on a snowy night near the border, an incident occurred, and the villagers came together to face the challenges. Stansted, located along the US-Vermont border, witnessed a historic event. During a storm, part of the roof at the Haskell Free Library was damaged. Villagers worked together to save the books. Border proximity delayed emergency services, but the community stepped in. There were minor injuries, yet the unity of the village left everyone amazed. In Stansted, Quebec, along the border, a battle to save books and memories unfolded during a storm, showing the village's unity. In Aldergrove, a delivery truck got stuck near the US-Canada border during a minor commercial accident. Villagers and border officials joined efforts to free it. It took time, and even children helped. This became a small but unforgettable memory in daily village life. In the border village of Aldergrove, a delivery truck got stuck, and the entire village worked together to free it, a small but memorable incident. In Hemmingford, a small border dispute arose amid vineyards. An American worker accidentally crossed onto village land. Initially, villagers were alarmed, but eventually, a compromise was reached. This incident became a teaching moment that even small conflicts can be resolved through community unity. In the vineyards of Hemmingford, Quebec, a minor border dispute happened, and the villagers resolved it through unity and compromise. In Lansdowne, near the St. Lawrence River, a fishing accident shook the village. A young fisherman got trapped in the current, and the villagers joined forces to rescue him. Rescue teams were delayed due to the border, but the community took initiative and saved the youth. It became a testament to the village's bravery and caring spirit. In Lansdowne, Ontario, along the St. Lawrence River, the whole village came together to save a young fisherman. A story of bravery. In Rouse's Point, a storm threatened boats at the historic harbor. Villagers of all ages worked together with ropes and lanterns to secure the vessels. No lives were lost, yet the villagers still remember that terrifying night. A storm hit Rouse's Point, but the villagers averted disaster with courage and unity. In Fort Fairfield, a tractor accident occurred near the border. A local worker got stuck in the field. Villagers rushed in with ropes and ladders to rescue him. Although minor, the incident became an example of the power of community unity. A small tractor accident in Fort Fairfield, but the whole village showed unity and courage. In St. Stephen, during a heat wave, the village faced electricity issues, temporarily shutting down the chocolate factory. Villagers managed the situation with generators and mutual support. Minor injuries occurred, but the collective effort minimized damage. During the heat wave in St. Stephen, the village saved the chocolate factory, proving that unity is strength. In Drummond, a small forest fire broke out near the border despite safety signs. Villagers with buckets and fire trucks contained it. No one was hurt, but the scare left a lasting memory. Near Drummond, a forest fire threatened the village, but teamwork turned it into a memorable night. In Holton, a delivery mix-up happened near the border checkpoint. Locals and officials guided the truck to the right place. A minor incident, but a showcase of coordination and responsibility. Holton's delivery mix-up forced villagers to work together, handling the situation efficiently. In Beebe Plain, during a snowstorm, roads spanned both countries. Villagers used lanterns and ropes to help stranded people on both sides. No lives were lost, yet the night remained etched in memory. In Beebe Plain, during a snowstorm, the village set a story of cross-border safety. In Highwater, a fisherman got trapped in a stream. Nearby residents used ropes and boats to help. Everyone, young and old, successfully prevented disaster, creating a story of bravery and solidarity. In Highwater, villagers rescued a fisherman by working together, a story of courage. In Alberg, a minor fire broke out during the summer festival. Despite being near the border, villagers responded immediately, ensuring safety and continuity of the event. During Alberg's summer festival, the village safeguarded everyone through unity. In Stanhope, a bear appeared at the village outskirts. Residents moved children and animals to safety. Authorities arrived late, but the village took initiative. In Stanhope, during a wildlife threat, villagers protected children and animals, showing unity. In Morrisville, during summer storms, the river overflowed. Villagers used boats and ropes to help elderly and children reach safety. No injuries occurred, but the night became a memorable example of togetherness. During Morrisville's river floods, the village kept everyone safe through unity and courage. In Ayers Cliff, a boating accident trapped a young person. Villagers rescued them using ropes and small boats, exemplifying courage and cooperation. At Ayers Cliff, the whole village united to save a young boater. In Freelaceburg, a vineyard fire outbreak occurred. Emergency services were delayed due to the border, but villagers extinguished the fire and saved the fields. In Freelaceburg, villagers protected vineyards with courage and unity. In Hatley, a storm damaged roofs of historic buildings. Villagers climbed ladders with ropes to make repairs. Official help arrived late, but the village took initiative. In Hatley, a storm threatened historic buildings, but villagers handled it with unity. In Derby Line, a small border incident occurred when residents accidentally crossed sides. Elders resolved the dispute peacefully. In Derby Line, village elders resolved a border conflict through unity. In Richford, a tractor accident happened near the border. Emergency help arrived late, but villagers acted promptly, showing solidarity. During a tractor accident in Richford, villagers ensured safety through unity. In Coaticook, a hiking accident occurred near the gorge. Villagers rescued hikers using ropes and ladders, navigating the mountainous terrain. During a Coaticook hiking accident, the village displayed courage and teamwork. In Beecher Falls, a winter storm caused an electricity outage. Villagers used generators and lanterns to keep the area safe. During Beecher Falls' winter storm, unity and courage kept everyone safe. In Fry Island, a small fishing accident occurred. Villagers rescued a young fisherman despite rough waters. On Fry Island, villagers showed bravery and teamwork during a fishing accident. In Abercorn, a pest outbreak threatened crops. Villagers collaborated to save harvests, showcasing hard work and unity. During Abercorn's pest outbreak, villagers preserved crops with unity and effort. In Stansted Plain, a river flood occurred. Villagers helped elderly and children reach safety. Official help arrived late, but the community initiative kept everyone safe. During Stansted Plain's flood, villagers ensured safety through unity and bravery. Village introductions. For narration, video hook. Kingsgate, British Columbia. Population, 150. Environment, mountainous, forested, snow in winter. Special feature, located near the US-Canada border, a popular crossing point. Welcome to Kingsgate, British Columbia, a tiny mountain village of 150, right next to the US-Canada border. Snowy winters and beautiful forests make it enchanting. Stansted, Quebec. Population, 4,000. Environment, rivers, historic buildings. Special feature, connected to US-Vermont border, home to the Haskell Free Library and Opera House. Visit Stansted, Quebec, home to 4,000 people and the unique Haskell Free Library straddling the US-Vermont border. A one-of-a-kind experience. Aldergrove, British Columbia. Population, Toaster, 16,000. Environment, farmlands, scenic mountains. Special feature, famous for trade routes and border proximity. Aldergrove, BC, a charming village of 16,000 near the border, surrounded by farmlands and scenic mountains. Hemingford, Quebec. Population, 1,500. Environment, vineyards and fields. Special feature, known for springtime beauty and vineyards near the US border. Hemingford, Quebec, a small village of 1,500, famous for its vineyards and springtime beauty near the US border. Lansdowne, Ontario. Population, 600. Environment, open fields, trees. Special feature, near St. Lawrence River, famous for border culture. Lansdowne, Ontario, with 600 residents, located near the St. Lawrence River, famous for border culture. Rouse's Point, Quebec. Population, 2,200. Environment, waterfront, historic buildings. Special feature, historical harbor and border proximity. Near Rouse's Point, Quebec, a small village of 2,200, known for its historic harbor and border location.